City officials in San Francisco approved a controversial measure that allows police-controlled robots to use deadly force. Critics say that the policy could lead to further aggression from police in poor and minority communities. It still faces another vote, though, and the city's mayor will have final say on its introduction. But we want to bring in Professor Kirk Burkhalter. He's joining us now to talk a little bit more about these robots. He's a retired NYPD detective and director of the 21st Century Policing Project at New York Law School. Thanks for joining us. So we were talking a little bit before, and I said, you know, I think part of the reason why this story has gotten so much of attention is because it's like our science fiction nightmares, like killer robots doing our bidding. But I also thought to myself that it's another piece of military-style equipment being introduced to the police force. But it makes sense. If you don't have to send another human being into a dangerous position, then that's a good thing. In your years of policing, can you recall any time where having a robot with deadly force would have made the difference?
For me personally, no. Okay. And these tend to be somewhat extreme events. So quite often these events unfold rather quickly. So police officers don't necessarily have time to go and obtain this device and deploy it and so forth. Usually these are snap decisions. We see that these are extreme examples where there's a gun person barricaded and so forth.
Right, like what we saw in Dallas.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's a perfect example of where the police may have no other choice but to deploy some type of remote device.
So I'm sort of curious about this technology and how it will be used. The San Francisco Police Department says the deadly force robots would only be used as a last resort. The question about the benefit of technology outweighing the risk, I mean, it's maybe not that similar, but I always feel like when there are people behind decisions that sometimes are life-altering decisions, it's easier to take our human biases out of it and put in what is essentially a computer that would then decide whether force should be used or not, and take the things that sometimes make us frail humans, our bias against race, gender, whatever it might be, out of the equation. In other words, it becomes completely objective in how it treats perpetrators. And I wonder that because all throughout history, there have been moments when, for example, specifically when it relates to pilots, when pilots first became aware that planes could fly themselves, a lot of pilots didn't want to fly in a plane that had this AI technology that would allow them, because they said pilots make split-second decisions. I can't trust those decisions to a computer.
That makes sense, but we're not talking about AI here, right? Because this would be like a remote control sort of thing. The robot isn't thinking, but I think that there's a distance now between the human who might be in the room tracking the bad guy and the outcome. You know, now you're not in the building.
Now you're not able to say to the judge, I feared for my life. Well, if you're a cop.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't say that to the judge anymore because, so why did you deploy your weapon? Why did you deploy that robot's weapon if you're not in fear of your life?
Yes, and that distance, that lack of humanity often is not necessarily a good thing. Here's a perfect example. Someone who's watching this broadcast is experiencing this conversation very differently than the three of us right here. So we feel the heat from the lights, we can see each other, we have different sensory perceptions, and that may alter our perception of what is going on real time. Once you put the distance in between, you're losing a lot of that. So it's not always a great thing to remove that human aspect.
Interesting.
So let me get your overall take on this move. Robots have been used already, and when it comes to bomb stuff and bomb disputes,
and even in Afghanistan and Iraq, we use the explosive ordnance disposal units. Use them to protect soldiers, Marines from engaging with an IED.
So Vlad brings up something else that we talked about earlier, that these have been used successfully in military environments, and they've been used in regular sort of domestic policing environments too. But I want to get, what's your overall take, or if you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on weaponizing these robots?
Weaponizing, I would have to lean towards a thumbs down. I think they've been used successfully, as you mentioned, to protect police officers, to protect the public from explosive devices. But once we put, the use or the capability to use deadly force remotely, that idea doesn't sit well with most folks. There has to be some type of human interaction before someone pulls that trigger. Imagine someone being 20 miles away, pulling that trigger. You know, this is like a military type action where you're flying a drone. In other words, there may be a time where that works, but at this point, let's slow it down. Let's think about
But
it.
Detective, you point out the drone usage in the military, which has perhaps saved a lot of pilot lives. You don't have to fly into a hot zone. You can just send in a drone. There's nobody in the drone. It can carry out the mission, return safely back to base, and you save soldiers' lives, airmen's lives. I have no opinion on this, but I'm just fascinated by the discussion around it, which we're having.
It's a strong counter argument, I think.
And a key point to remember is the mission of the police and the mission of the military fundamentally different.
Right. And so then the measure needs to survive a second vote next week, has to be approved by the mayor of San Francisco. The question is, could you see something like that here in New York City?
Well, we tried it here in New York City.
Is that right?
Last year, the police department experimented with a robotic dog and deployed it a couple of times just for use of surveillance.
Was it one of those Boston Dynamics sort of weird-looking creatures?
That's exactly what it was. And the public reacted horribly.
Is that right?
Horribly to it.
Like what?
Well, the public was fearful that there would be some bias involved because it was deployed in a housing development. Just people freaked out. They just didn't like the idea. It seemed too cold. So I think New York is a distance away. I think a lot of folks are going to watch what happens in San Francisco, how the public reacts there before they adopt it for their own cities.
That's really interesting. Well, those Boston Dynamic robots are a little weird looking.
They are.
Like the fact that they move like creatures, but they don't look anything like creatures.
I think that, look, my sense is that if they over time can prove that these will save lives, both the lives of police officers and the lives of even people who might be committing a crime, in other words, a crime that doesn't require deadly force, then to me, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. We don't want an Ed 209 situation. Y'all remember RoboCop?
Yes.
You have 15 seconds to comply.
80s and 90s movies, his specialty. His specialty.
I'm a nerd, I know. Kirk Burkhalter, thank you, my friend. Really great talking with you.